Well then, thank you for staying with us right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. This is the World News. My name is Esther Wachiko, and here are the top stories. President Tinubu tells Nigerians no going back on economic reforms. State House budgets 15 billion naira for SUVs, car tires, office complex in 2025 budget. EFCC summons Edo local government chairman suspended over alleged misconduct. PDP raises alarm over alleged secret plot to arrest PDP federal lawmaker Ugo Chinyere, and over adult children carnival stampede. Details now. The news at 12 begins with President Bola Tinubu disclosing that he has no plans to reverse the economic reforms embarked upon by his administration. President Tinubu noted that the journey has not been easy, but it is a necessary sacrifice Nigerians have to pay for the greater good of the nation. He acknowledged the difficulties Nigerians have had to endure as a result of the economic reforms and urged the citizens to believe in the process, promising that there would be light at the end of the tunnel. The president made the declaration on Wednesday while delivering his speech during the presentation of the 47.9 trillion naira 2025 budget proposal to a joint sitting of the National Assembly in Abuja. Meanwhile, the State House has earmarked a significant portion of its budget, 15.09 billion naira, for the purchases of tires for bulletproof vehicles, sport utility vehicles, operational vehicles, plain cars, and the construction of an office complex for special advisors and senior special assistants. This was revealed in the detailed breakdown of the 2025 appropriation bill released by the Budget Office of the Federation on Thursday. The budget document was presented to a joint session of the National Assembly by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on Wednesday under the theme Budget of Restoration, Securing Peace, Rebuilding Prosperity. According to the document, the State House's allocation includes 164 million naira for the purchase of tires for bulletproof vehicles, plain cars, jeeps, platform trucks, and operational vehicles. 1.1 billion naira for replacing SUVs, 3.66 billion naira for purchasing State House operational vehicles, 127.86 million naira for SUVs for the President and Vice President, 285 million naira for motor vehicles under the Office of the Chief of Staff, 179.63 million naira for security and operational vehicles for the Chief Security Officer. Additionally, 1.83 billion naira is earmarked for the construction of an office complex for special advisors and senior special assistants, while 2.12 billion naira is allocated for honorarium and sitting allowances. The 2025 appropriation bill, valued at 49.7 trillion naira, prioritizes critical sectors such as defense, infrastructure, education, and health. In another development, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has summoned the suspended chairman of Edo State's 18 local governments for questioning. The development comes after the State House of Assembly suspended the chairman and their vice chairman on December 17, 2024 for alleged insubordination and misconduct. According to the EFCC's Director of Investigation, Abdulkarim Chukwu, the chairman of Akoko Edo, Ego, Eson Central, Eson Northeast, Eson Southeast, and Eson West local governments are expected to report to the Commission's office today, December 19, 2024. The remaining chairman from Igweben, Ikpoba, Oka, Overonwo, Ovia Northeast, Ovia Southwest, Owan East, Owan West, and Uwowede local governments are scheduled to report on Friday, December 20, 2024. The EFCC has requested that the chairman brings certified true copies of the comprehensive documentation relating to staff strength and payroll, details of accounts where funds are received for payment of staff salaries, and statements of account from January 1 to date. State. The Commission said the summon is pursuant to Section 38, subsection 1-2 of the EFCC Establishment Act 2004. Meanwhile, the suspended chairmen have dared Governor Monday Okpebholo and the State House of Assembly, insisting that their suspension is unconstitutional. The chairman, under the aegis of the Edo State chapter of the Association of Local Governments of Nigeria, ALGON, claimed that their tenure would only end in 2025, citing an order restraining the defendants from dissolving the democratically elected council executives. Now, the Coalition of United Political Parties, CUPP, has raised an urgent alarm over an alleged plot by certain security agencies to arrest and frame its spokesperson and lawmaker representing the Idiato Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Honorable Ugochinyere Michael Igagwanu, also known as Ikenga Imo. The coalition, under an umbrella of the Nigeria opposition political parties, said the security operatives are working in collaboration with the faction loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. They accuse the pro-Wike group of fabricating baseless allegations against Ugochinyere to silence him and undermine his outspoken resistance against their alleged political and illegal misconduct. Speaking at a World Press Conference held in Abuja, the CUPP leadership alongside pro-democracy advocates described the development as a grave threat to Nigeria's democracy. The Secretary General of CUPP, High Chief Peter Ame, and the coalition's co-spokesman, Comrade Mark Adebayo, joined other leaders to condemn what they called a clandestine scheme to defame, tarnish and stifle the voice of one of Nigeria's most vocal and incorruptible opposition leaders. The CUPP alleged that the pro-Wike faction, in collaboration with complicit security agencies, had been training fake witnesses for over 6 weeks in Abuja to testify falsely against Ugochinyere. According to the coalition, these witnesses are being prepared to accuse him of crimes, including bribery of judicial officers, criminal defamation, subversive acts, and treason. They claim that this orchestrated campaign was intended to stop Ugochinyere's continued exposure of the pro-Wike group alleged atrocities within the People's Democratic Party, as well as their involvement in land racketeering within the Federal Capital Territory. Still on the world news, at 12, men of the Oyo State Police Command have detained the principal of Islamic High School Bashirun Ibadan, Mr. Abdullahi Fasasi. VOP News learned that Fasasi was invited by the police on Wednesday and has been detained since then. Now, correspondents report that the principal's detention is in connection with a stampede that occurred at the school on Wednesday. VOP News also gathered that no fewer than 32 children reportedly lost their lives as a result of the stampede that occurred in Ibadan yesterday. The incident took place during a children's carnival organized by Naomi Silekuola, an estranged wife of the Oni of Ile-Ife, Oba Adeye Enitan Ogunwusi, held at Islamic High School Bashirun Ibadan. Also, VOP News learned that the principal of the school was invited and subsequently detained in connection with the incident. A close source to the principal narrated that Fasasi was invited by the police around 4 p.m. on Wednesday and he honored the invitation. The source, who begged not to be named, explained that the principal was detained upon arrival. The source added that Fasasi is being held at the Criminal Investigation Department CID in the Iyaganku area. As at the time of filing this report, the principal has not yet been released. You're currently listening to the World News at 12, right here in Voice of the People, 90.3 FM. We'll take a very short break. When we return, we'll head into a news analysis segment where I actually have joining me here Mr. Peter Anosike, who is a political, national and social affairs commentator. He'll be responding to some questions posed to him. Do kindly stay with us. Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. You're still listening to the World News at 12 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. In a very recent development, the Independent National Electoral Commission INEC has announced plans to phase out the permanent voter cards. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu disclosed this during a meeting with resident electoral commissioners at the Commission's headquarters in Abuja today. The decision is part of 142 recommendations aimed at improving preparedness, voter management, education, political party oversight, and electoral operations. The recommendations also address technology, security, and legal frameworks. Yakubu noted that with the introduction of the bimodal voter accreditation system, the PVC should no longer be the sole means of voter accreditation. He proposed computer-generated slips or downloadable identification from the Commission's website as alternatives. While PVC holders can still use their cards to vote, the new system is expected to reduce cost, simplify processes, and curb PVC-related electoral malpractice. He added that 8 of the 142 recommendations require legislative action by the National Assembly. Mr. Peter Anosike, good afternoon and thank you for joining us on the World News at 12.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start off with what INEC actually just said, the plans to phase out PVCs completely. This is part of the Commission's means of meeting up, with the reconstruction of some of the guidelines and recommendations needed or aimed at, according to them, improving preparedness and voter management, education, and political party oversight. But this is not the first time we've seen INEC trying to, measure or update their system of operation, update their guidelines or whatever possible recommendations. In 2022, we saw how INEC really pushed with the introduction of the IRF portal, where we can see election results in real time. And a lot of Nigerians bought into that because for the first time, they get to participate real time on how results are coming in from different polling units. INEC conducted a mock test of how that IRF portal works and certified that indeed this will be one of the means through which the 2023 elections will be different from other elections that we've been conducting. Unfortunately, when it was time for that particular IRF portal to be utilized to ensure transparency, there was a glitch during the presidential election. INEC has not told us precisely what caused the glitch. How are we certain that all of these recommendations and guidelines and whatever that needs legislative action from the National Assembly would make any difference in 2027?
Well, for me, those 142 whatever are nonsense.
Well, why would you say nonsense?
What they should work on is just one thing: character. That's the only thing that INEC need to work on. Mm-hmm. They have very bad character. That's the problem with Nigeria election.
The officials have bad character.
Bad character that is the only problem with Nigeria election.
Can you highlight this negative mannerisms or characters that you're referring to?
What you are saying, the glitch that you are talking about was they deliberately switched off the network.
INEC has they
deliberately switched off the network when they discovered that the election was not going their way.
They said it was overwhelming at the time. That was one of the explanations.
They deliberately switched off the network when the election was not going their way.
Mr. Peter Anosike, on what facts or verifiable basis are you making this statement that they deliberately switched it off?
What Nigeria need is just a change of character. All those 142 is just a deception.
What I want to verify from you is how are you certain? Where is your factual basis to prove that they switched off the network? Because INEC has never responded in that regard. They have refused to tell us precisely what caused the glitch.
Does a thief agree being a thief?
Who is a thief?
INEC.
You are slandering and defaming an institution.
Thief of Nigerian mandate.
Mr. Peter Anosike, you are slandering and defaming a sensitive institution as INEC.
Let us be serious here.
We're being serious.
All those 142 are absolute nonsense. The problem with INEC is character and nothing more.
All right, Mr.
Once they have a very good character, once they desist from being corrupt, our election will go 100% right. We will be like Liberia, we will be like Ghana and other countries. So telling you that they are doing this, all those are nonsense. But the problem is character is why Nigeria election is bad. It's just human factor and nothing more. So what happened in 2023 is human factor and nothing more.
So all the technology you deployed,
all those things are nonsense. All those things are practically nonsense. The problem with our nation is human factor, character, and nothing more.
All right, Mr. Peter Anosike, thank you so much for that. Although some of the things that you said, if there are no verifiable facts, I wouldn't take it as anything factual. So apparently, the Kano government is sending a message to INEC, and they're accusing President Tinubu's government of killing the opposition. And that statement was made by Aminu Abdusalam Gwazo, accusing the federal government of orchestrating efforts to weaken opposition parties. Gwazo urged the Electoral Commission to intervene, emphasizing its role as an impartial umpire to safeguard democratic processes. Gwazo stressed that a vibrant opposition is crucial for democracy, warning that undermining it could jeopardize Nigeria's democratic stability. What does he mean by INEC intervening? You're telling the president that you are seeing hell, right, in your region. That's basically said, we are seeing hell. And the Kano government is sending a message to INEC, accusing Tinubu's government of killing opposition. So is it INEC you're supposed to send a message to intervene on your behalf? Because INEC declared and said the president won the election. And then if you say that the APC is killing opposition, what are the opposition parties ensuring to do that they are not killed, to stand firm in opposing the APC, if at all they intend to contend with them in 2027?
Well, Napoleon said, never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake.
Okay.
That's what Napoleon said. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. So, APC is doing the right thing. The party in the opposition are messing up.
Okay.
So what APC is supposed to do is to fold their hands and watch them burn themselves out. The party in power is only strong when the opposition is weak. The party in power is only strong when the opposition is weak. So right now, the opposition is weak, understand?
Okay.
And that's why APC is strong. For me, I don't consider APC that's a strong party because they are not.
They seem to understand grassroots political mobilization.
They understand nothing.
Other political parties.
They understand. It is just that the parties in the opposition are messing up. If they unite, you will see that APC will be blown away like they'll just go the way of the wind. So that if APC wins in 2027, it is the fault of the parties in the opposition because they have failed to unite.
All right, Mr. Peter Anosike, yesterday the president came to the National Assembly to present the 2025 budget. And in one of the process, well, a couple of headlines are referring to it as President Tinubu goofs during budget presentation when he said, all of you are re-elected. What does that phrase mean, even if he seemed to be joking? What does that phrase mean by all of you are re-elected? Is he the one that chooses them at the National Assembly? Aren't they voted in by their constituencies?
Tinubu is a fun-loving guy, understand me? So when he said that 11th Assembly instead of the 10th Assembly, they reminded him that you made a mistake.
Are you sure they reminded him? Was it not? Are you saying it wasn't deliberate by saying 11th Assembly? Are you sure it wasn't deliberate? Because that is for next 10 years.
They reminded him he's a human being. A slip of the tongue can happen to anybody.
Are you sure that was a slip of the tongue?
It was a slip of the tongue.
Are you sure he's not telling you a prophecy that, hey, we are going to meet here again come 2027
we
and
never
we'll be constituted together?
We never know Tinubu as a prophet. So he had a slip of the tongue and they reminded him that this is the 10th Assembly and not the 11th Assembly. Jokingly, he said, well, all of you have been re-elected. So he's what Yoruba people call Jaye kind of a person.
He's known as a city boy.
Understand me? Yes.
Okay.
So
All right. In
It's
the
not a
process,
big
though,
deal.
the president said he has no plans to reverse the economic reforms embarked upon by his administration. And he reiterated again that he knows the journey is not easy and it has not been easy since he came on board, but that it is a necessary sacrifice Nigerians have to pay for the greater good of the nation. Why should Nigerians pay for the greater good of the nation? Because I want to read out to you a breakdown, right, of the significant portion of the budget, how much monies are going to operational vehicles, plane cars, sports utility vehicles, construction of office complex for special advisors and senior special assistants. Are we not supposed to be asking for a moderation in the cost of governance, but you're asking Nigerians to go through the process to endure the pain?
Well, 32 children sacrificed yesterday in Ibadan.
It's more than that now.
Okay. 157 were burnt to death in Jigawa when they went to scoop fuel. Because if fuel is affordable, it's affordable, they wouldn't have gone to scoop fuel.
Okay.
So that sacrifice. 7 people sacrificed when they were stampede that to death when customs wanted that to share to send 10 kg of rice. And this sacrifice did not start today. In 2015, Femi Adesina, who was SA media to
Former President
Buhari, told us that the suffering that Nigerians were going then is like taking a bitter pill. Though it is bitter, it will at the end heal the whole body. I just quoted Femi Adesina. So Nigeria is still taking that bitter pill, and the body is not being healed. Understand? So when you are going on a wrong way, and you realize that the way you are going is wrong, the only thing you can do is you stop and turn back. But this government, because of arrogance, understand, has refused to turn back. They have continued on that wrong way.
Okay.
Because you came up with policies and programs which are killing other people, and you still want them to keep on suffering. Because what Tinubu would have done, assuming that he has empathy, for the country, is to do what the president of Argentina did. When the president of Argentina came on board, Argentina was in recession.
Okay.
But what did he do? He sold all their presidential jets. He cut down his cabinet by 50%. That's reduction now, which is which understand. Then cut down all the salary of the presidency by that 50%.
Why can't that same thing be implemented? Because you keep saying that the people should bear the pain. It's part of the process for us to get to whatever economic destination of your choice that you think your policies will conscript for us in the future. But you can see, look at the cost. Look at the cost.
But mind you, during the former President Buhari's 82 years birthday, go and check Tinubu's comment. He said, "I'll continue to build on your legacy."
He repeated that statement.
So what is
yesterday.
What is Buhari's legacy? Suffering. That's the only thing that Buhari knew how to do since 1984. Suffering people. And that's what a man is saying that he will continue to build upon. Why did one of the main reasons why Commander Harris was dumped in the United States election was that when he was asked, what will you do differently from what Biden is doing? She answered that nothing comes to mind. Understand me? And that's exactly the trajectory that Tinubu is going in. that nothing comes to mind, that he's going to continue building on Buhari's failures, which means you don't have your own vision, you don't have your own, understand me, programs, you don't have your own agenda. And even Adesina, when he was sending his own message to Buhari, Adesina said that Buhari did not remove subsidy because he's a friend of the poor.
All right. Peter Onosuke, how did the NBS website get hacked as the president arrived in Lagos?
I'm not a hacker, so I don't know.
Why it's surprising is this, why I asked you that question is, the NBS yesterday released a very detailed report of crime and criminality, which includes kidnapping and murder and ransom payment of the families of the victims that are kidnapped to these kidnappers.
What does it say? 2.2
trillion naira, and about 2 million Nigerians kidnapped, 630 something persons killed either in the process or after the process. And then they gave a detailed breakdown as well of how many of those crimes are committed both in the urban and rural areas. And then 24 or 28 hours later, we'll see a report from the NBS telling us that their website has been hacked. So how do we explain that, and how do we believe any information or statistics that comes out from that platform anytime again?
Well, for me, since Adeyemi became the boss of MBS, he politicized it because he wants to give the impression that his uncle is doing a big job. He's doing a wonderful job. So from that point in time, I stopped believing in anything from the MBS. I know that they must have cautioned him for him that do not now want to do a recount.
Yeah.
So for me, this is the first time I'm hearing that it was hacked.
Okay.
Then the person hacking it, what is the motive? What is the motive? So if it was hacked, it means that those information were there and hidden from the masses. And that 2.2 trillion is more than the annual budget of 3 states in the country. And that was what was paid as a ransom. And that shows you the reason how Nigeria, that's the way Nigeria has gone. Understand me? That shows you if or the budget of 3 states can be used to pay ransom under a year.
Yes.
It means that Somalia has become better than Nigeria. It means that Gaza is now safer than Nigeria.
That's an unfortunate way to look at things. Finally, before I let you go, the PDP has raised an alarm over alleged plot, all right, to certain security agencies to want to arrest and frame its spokesperson and lawmaker representing Idiato Federal Constituency in the House of Rep, Honorable Ugo Chinyere.
It's either north and south.
Okay, yes. So I mean, why would this be? He's very outspoken. Good. They are conscripting it to be that Wike is behind this.
Let us go back in time. They have always wanted Ikenga Ugochinyere dead.
Out.
Not out, dead. Before the election, unknown gunmen stormed his country home. Shoot at every living being, but he was able to escape. Understand me? He was able to escape by whiskers. They almost killed him. So when they did not get him, the wife of Hope Ozodema was going from one community to another, telling people, don't vote for that young man. He is insulting my husband.
Do we have any evidence of that?
It is all over. It is all over. And on the day of the election, the use of either north and south, all of them were the local government. youths were mobilized at the local government, and they know that if they did not declare him winner, there's going to be violence. Understand? I'm telling you, the day when the election, Ikenga Ugochinyere election was announced. Understand me? Youths mobilized themselves and stormed the local government. They were everywhere, shouting, "Announce this result." And it was on that condition that it was announced. Ugochinyere as a winner. Understand? Why Pascal Obi contested for PDP. Understand me, and so on and so forth. Pascal Obi was the PA to PS to Rochas Okorocha. Understand me? So after that, they went to the tribunal and get a judgment. Understand that on the primary that brought Ikenga Ugochinyere in. Where it was held was outside the jurisdiction.
Okay.
Which is not a case for the tribunal to determine because it was a pre-election issue.
Okay.
So I told them that I said that this is a miscarriage of justice. That he will get his mandate back at the appeal. And he was able to get it back at appeal. So right from time, they have always wanted him dead. Then in this issue, he is very, very vocal about supporting FUBRA.
Yes, he's been in fact, one of the very vocal persons.
Understand me? He has been very vocal in supporting FUBRA. And this now tells you how Wike is coming in. Understand? So, even when the other he was trying that to run the PDP governors, go and support your own, meaning FUBRA.
All right.
So this now, and in the last River State governorship, local government election, that's APP cleared all the states, all the local government in River State. Then APP defeated Wike's own candidate in Ikwere. So this now gets to that the picture of how APP and Ugochinyere and Ikenga now came together. Understand me?
Mr. Peter Onoske, the president is in Lagos for the Christmas holiday. Let's just assume that the president is listening to this radio station. What would you tell him? Let's assume he's listening. What would you say? What would you recommend? What would you advise? What exactly will you tell him? Because we do a lot of calling out here, and you're one of the very vocal persons too about the inadequacies of this administration. So what would you say?
Well, what I would tell him is that the only way to measure a government that is doing well is the quality of life of the citizens.
Okay.
And when you check the quality of life of the citizens, going by what I have mentioned, the more than 32 children that died in Ibadan yesterday just because of free food. If they can afford that food in their houses, they would not have gone there. Mind you, some of them started converging as far back as Tuesday.
At that place.
Tuesday. Understand me? Remember 157 people that were burnt to death because they were scooping fuel. So when we look at the quality of life of Nigerians under his administration, it means that he is failing.
All right. Mr. Peter Onosike, thank you so much for taking your time to give us your purview and explanations on some of the questions that were asked to you in the World News at 12. I sincerely do appreciate your input.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. To wrap up here again, other top stories. We heard that President Tinubu discloses to Nigerians no going back on economic reforms. State House budgets 15 billion naira for SUVs, car tires, office complex in 2025 budget. AFCC summons Edo local government chairman suspended over alleged misconduct. PDP raises alarm over alleged secret plot to arrest PDP federal lawmaker Ugochinyere. And police detain principal over Ibadan children carnival stampede. That's a wrap on the world news at 12. My name is Esther Wachuku. Good afternoon. Thank you for for listening. See you next time.